Welcome to Postcards to the Universe with Melissa Caprio. Do you believe in magic? What if you were told that all you had to do was get a little creative and work a magic spell to bring anything you can imagine into your life? Here on Postcards to the Universe, we will share manifesting, tips, postcards, creativity, abundance, and prosperity. Here is your host, Melissa Caprio.
Hey everybody, and welcome to Postcards to the Universe with Melissa, creating the life you crave. How is everybody doing? It's my favorite time of the year, October. I love October. I love getting ready for the holidays. Yeah, I'm one of those people. I watch all the holiday movies. I love it. I get right into the energy of the holidays. So I hope everybody else is too. I have a really cool guest today, Sarah Balmer. She's an ascension mentor, and we're going to find out what that is when she joins me in just a few minutes. A few things to my regulars. Thank you so much for joining me each week. It means the world to me. I hope you keep coming back. And if you're just tuning into my show for the first time, welcome. And I hope you enjoy the show. And I hope you too will keep coming back for more. Just a little FYI. Every show we record, it goes up on Om Times Radio Archives, so you can listen to any show there at any time. And I also take the show and I put it up on my podcast on postcardstotheuniverse.com, so you can look for any past shows or any future shows. If you like, you like what I'm doing and you want to listen to more shows, just keep coming back and you'll see new shows being uploaded all the time. A little bit about me, if you are new. I'm a photographer. I'm an author. I have a project and a book, and it's titled Postcards to the Universe, Harness the Universe's Power and Manifest Your Dreams. And in my book, I have 30 manifesting stories along with the photographs that I took of the the contributor's postcard. And a manifesting postcard is very similar to a vision board. It's just a little smaller and more concise. Like I just tell people just to do one postcard for one thing. And when they send me their postcard, I photograph it. And when their story became their reality, it showed up in their life, I took pictures and we told their stories. So that's what the book is about. There's 30 of those in my book, and it's broken up in 4 areas: love, more abundance in love, career, health, and of course, money. And I have a lot of fun manifesting exercises to do to manifest more abundance in those areas, and also a lot of writing exercises. And it helps us get clear on those things that we want to manifest, because we're not always sure. Usually we just know, oh, I just want to feel better, or I just want to be happy. And you're like, well, what does that look like? So this helps us do those things. And I started doing live readings from my book on Instagram and TikTok, and I also post them on LinkedIn and YouTube, so you can check out and follow along there. And if you do, just say hi and share with your friends and give me a like. I would appreciate it. It's been fun doing the readings, I have to say. I'm really kind of enjoying it. I ask each week for people to send me a manifesting postcard, and I tell you how to do that on my website, postcardstotheuniverse.com. Please do let me know if you send me one. And if you sign up for my newsletter on there, you're going to get a free gift. It's a manifesting abundance, 8 steps to manifesting. It shows up in your inbox, and my address of where to send the postcards is on my website also. So yeah, if you have questions, just email me. Reach out to me on social media or email me. I am, happy to answer any questions. I started doing a couple of workshops. One is called Manifesting Through Gratitude, a visual journey. And we use gratitude to bring in more of those things that we want in our life, because we all have so much to be grateful for. And it's Thursday evenings, 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern Time. It's online, so you can do it from the comfort of your home. You can find out about the workshop on my website, also postcardstotheuniverse.com. And the cool thing about this workshop is we're going to use our camera phones as a tool to help us manifest in all the different areas of our life where we should find more gratitude, because it's one of the most powerful powerful tools that you can use to manifesting. It's the more grateful you are, the more things that come into your life to be grateful for. So any questions, again, just reach out to me. Be happy to answer, and I hope you join the workshop, the gratitude workshop. But in the new year, I'm going to be doing how to make a manifesting card workshop, and that's going to be a Saturday afternoon. So I'll fill you in when I get the actual time and date on that. Okay. I also do a magical message each week, and this week is inspiring through my art. So this is one of the postcards that was in my book, and I am re-photographing each of the postcards, and I'm releasing them now this week, and I'm sharing each contributor's story. So check it out. You can see it on the videos, or of course you can see it in the book. But a contributor who is an artist talks about how he is inspired, and how he inspires others through his art. It's a really beautiful story. So I hope you'll, go and look at it. Get the book, really, please. I hope that you do. And let me know what you think. Okay, so my guest today, Sarah Balmer, a.k.a. Sarah Belle, I love that, Belle, is a mission-coded being and an ambassador of divine love light on this planet, here to anchor higher frequencies and assist humanity in its evolution to unity consciousness. As an ascension mentor, crystal energy healer, creative, and spiritual entrepreneur, Sarah helps women reclaim their inner light and return to wholeness by guiding them in raising their vibration, embodying energetic sovereignty, activating deep remembering, and empower their authentic expression. She is the founder of Anchor the Light Academy and Anchor the Light Society. Through these foundational offerings, along with her one-on-one coaching, intuitively designed jewelry, and high vibe crystals, she imparts a deeper understanding of your energy field, helps to reprogram unconscious patterns, and empower you to align with your truth and step into your multi-dimensional nature to liberate your spirit and live with more meaning, joy, authenticity, and freedom. So you can connect with her on her Instagram, which is Sarah Belle Style, and join her Anchor of Light community on Facebook. But you can also find out more if you visit her website, which is www.sarah, Belle, BELLE, style, STYLE.com. Welcome, Sarah. Thanks so much for being here with me today.
Well, thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here.
I'm excited to talk to you. So I think I know the answer to the question, but probably not as in-depth as obviously you do. But many people might not know what an ascension mentor is. Can you start? What is that?
Yeah, well, very simply, I help others raise in consciousness, and I help them to embody the light and truth of their being. And as much as, when people hear the word ascension, they think of moving up, and it is up in consciousness, but a big part of the journey is really about bringing the light down, which is why Anchor the Light is really sort of the tagline of my brand and really my mission.
So how did you get into this? Were you always into this kind of stuff with crystals and energy work your whole life, or is this something that you kind of fell into later?
Well, I was afraid you were going to ask that question.
We all have a story, right, Sarah? We all have our story.
Yeah, and I feel like it's really just an evolution of me finding me and me following my own truth codes and my own, true nature. When I look back to, childhood, I've always been on a mystical path. I've always been in my thinking and my approach. And, but, so many people, as I was growing up and, going through college and then getting my first job, I was very much sort of living life according to this pursuit of success, and how society sort of views success. And so I went through this corporate journey, this corporate life, and, climbed the corporate ladder, had levels of success that all the while was very much on on a spiritual journey and a spiritual path and collecting certifications and wisdom and working with teachers and, going on pilgrimages. And so in my heart, like I knew, there was a different path for me than the path that I was living. So it took me some time to sort of figure all that out. But, and I love your work about manifesting because I really do feel
Thank you.
Through my spiritual path and really raising in consciousness, I did start co-creating my reality and really manifested sort of that big leap from corporate life into this work that I do now as an ascension mentor and spiritual teacher.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, I think we all, anybody I've met and myself personally, we've all been on this kind of path, and you don't really know you're on it until you've gotten to a certain place and you look back and you're like, oh, that makes sense why this happened and then this happened and then this happened, because it led me to what I'm doing now. So yeah. What is your practice? Do you have a daily practice to help you keep your vibration elevated and raise your vibe? Because a lot of us, the first thing we do is we wake up, we're like, ugh, we focus on, I got to do this and I got to do that. And that's not exactly, that's not exactly ascension.
Yeah. Yes, and this is definitely something that I help people with too, is really anchoring into daily rituals and things because ritual really supports well-being and connection. And I have a lot. I have many. So there isn't really just one, but I can speak to a few of them. And one in the morning is my daily yoga practice, and so it is like a non-negotiable for me. It is. The first things I do in the morning, it's just a really simple yoga sequence, but it really helps me to get into my body and to feel, connect with the felt sense. And just when you do that every single day, you start to really know your body really well. And so there's a lot that can be revealed in that just little bit of time. And there's just a lot of opening that happens. And then currently I'm working with the Aura-Soma bottle, which is a beautiful tool for just awakening and shifting energy. So that's part of my current practice. And then I'm
sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you, but what did you say that was called? You're working with what?
An Aura-Soma bottle. Oh,
that's a new one. All right,
yeah.
So finish your story and then tell us what that is after. Okay.
Bookmark that. Aura-Soma is amazing modality. My friend is a practitioner, and there's not a ton of practitioners in the U.S. It comes from England, I believe, and it's a modality of working with energetic frequency to support really soul embodiment, or just becoming more you, coming home to yourself. But I'm working with my Sun Gate bottle, which is spirit, and so it's a beautiful modality in and of itself, especially if anybody is creative or loves color, you will love the modality of Aura-Soma.
Oh, nice. I'll have to check out more about that later. Okay. Yeah. That's interesting. See, that's why I love doing my show, because I'm always meeting the most interesting people like yourself. And I'm always learning something new. And I love it when I learn something new. I'm like a kid, I'm like, ooh, what is that?
Totally. Yeah, it's a beautiful modality. So I think really my core practice is ceremony, personal ceremony. And really, I have, my own beautiful little altar space. I do a lot of work with crystals, and in my own personal ceremony, it varies, what I do in that time and space, but always just opening space. I am a mesa carrier, so I work with my mesa. I try to work with it every day, which is really a personal altar, and it anchors my ceremonies because I facilitate cacao plant medicine ceremonies as well. And so just being in that ceremonial space really fortifies my own path. It anchors me, it centers me. Sometimes I work with meditation. I actually work with chant quite a bit and singing like soul song. It's such a form of personal empowerment, and just building and restoring personal power. And so that's a definite part of my ceremonial space. Working with a rattle and a drum can be part of that as well. And then automatic writing, channeling, working with crystals, just any guidance that I need for the day. And then also sending out prayer and really being of service to the human heart grid as well. So that's definitely part of my practice as well, is not just dropping into that space for me personally, but really giving and being of service at the same time.
That's beautiful. I love that. So, because you mentioned crystals, and I want to talk about the crystals because I'm fascinated by crystals. I don't know very much about them. And I know some people swear by they're real sensitive to the energies that crystals give off. So, talk to us a little bit about using crystals in your spiritual practice and how we can utilize them. Because, like I said, I do know I've spoken to other people, and, they're like, oh, no, you really got to sit with your crystals and see which one speaks to you. And I'm like, okay, I need to practice that more. So share with us, like, how we could utilize the crystals.
Yeah, oh my gosh, there's so many ways. So many ways. And, a lot of people start their crystal journey getting a few, very curious, sure what to do. They kind of sit around, and then, if they start working with them, there's so many different minerals, and they are beautiful, and so it's very easy to get swept into this wanting to explore their beauty, and there's nothing wrong with that at all. But they have a way of multiplying,
Yes, they do.
Get a few, and then it's like, oh, I really like these, and then you get a few more, and the next thing you know, it turns into like 50, and it's like, how did I get so many crystals?
Exactly.
So, I find that crystals really tend to come in for folks when they are going through an awakening of sorts, because they really are activating a lot of light codes and supporting that raising in consciousness. And so it's always beautiful to see when they start to show up and how they show up, and just those first stages of curiosity and and crystals really support building our energetic sensitivity. Also, I think you kind of have to be careful with that, because some people don't realize that also means more sensitive emotionally, more sensitive mentally. And so, that's where like the energetic protection becomes, a necessary part too, as you start to awaken to the world of energy and how you're exchanging with energy, because at the end of the day, that's really what's happening with the crystals. They are beings of light, and they are energetic in nature, each one carrying their own vibration, their own frequency. And so when you start working with them, you're naturally interacting with them energetically. And the very basis of crystal healing is to restore energetic harmony in the body. And so, and I do think that it's best to choose them intuitively, like see which one's picking you. And even just, doing that each day without having to know what's happening. I think that's another thing that I see, is so many people want to know what they all do and know how to use them. And I think there's this desire to just be able to say, oh, I have a crystal for that, and to know and to guide. But I think what we kind of sometimes miss is that approach really comes from the mind. It's really ego thinking that it knows, when there's actually something way bigger here at play, and it's this exchange of energy. And really, our superconscious mind, or our higher self, is a much better judge of what we really need and what's really happening. And so when we can just trust ourselves, to not have to go and to just seek out whatever it is we need and then work with it, that's really where the magic happens. And then you go look up what it's good for, and you're like, oh, this is what I need. And then the ego gets
that's good. Yeah. Because we all want to know. We want to know, like, oh, what does this one mean? And what does this represent? And what... I happen to recently have bought a crystal magic book so that I can start looking and working with the crystals more, knowing, because I'm like that, like wherever I go, if I'm at a store, I come across a crystal, and, I don't know why I pick the ones I do, and I'll just pick it, and I'll be like, okay, I need this crystal in my life. And so now I want to kind of start understanding why, which ones I'm choosing. But is there, I mean, I know there's God, hundreds of crystals, but is there one that you would recommend, or two that you would recommend people listening that's a good one to kind of carry with you? As women, we could throw it in our bag, just like to have it with us, at all times. It's good maybe for protection, or, to keep us, feeling grounded or something as we're out and about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so there's a few different ones that I would maybe recommend. I feel like selenite is a great crystal to always have, just because it's wonderful, really discharging negative energy and clearing negative energy. You can wand it through your field and like brighten your aura, so it can be, I'm thinking of it like a woman would powder her nose, it's
right?
Just like brighten yourself up. Like wanding that selenite through your auric field just kind of brightens your auric field.
Okay.
And so I always, and selenite can be great for just discharging, like I used to always have it in my car. And back when I was working in the corporate world and driving back and forth to work, I would kind of use it at lunchtime when I would go out and run to lunch or whatever. It was like I would totally just do a little cleanse, of my field and discharging whatever emotions may have accumulated. And then also I love, everyone kind of thinks that black tourmaline is a great protection stone. It is wonderful, but it's also very porous and can really accumulate a lot. So it's a stone that sometimes needs to be cleansed a bit more frequently. So if you're not, good on that, that may or may not be the best protection stone to use. But two that really come to mind are shungite and hematite. I love hematite because of its weight. It has kind of this heaviness to it, and it just immediately brings so much grounding energy with it. And it is a powerful protection stone. It's also really good for courage and vitality. And I think of this stone as having more of a masculine essence, but I recently just read the Akashic records of it for the Anchor the Light Society group, and there was a lot of feminine energy actually coming through this stone, kind of the mercurial aspects of the feminine, very present in this stone. And so even though with its kind of like metallic luster, you might not think of it as being like ultra feminine at first, and it actually does have quite a bit of feminine energy in it. And then shungite is just absolutely like a powerhouse. It actually works. Yeah.
Shungite. Okay.
So many levels.
Shungite's the powerhouse. Okay.
Yeah. It is so good. It's especially protective against EMF and just the technology world we live in. We all need it. Like we all need it. And it could be great for actually placing even in your home, like near your electronics. Just to help kind of mitigate the, radiation frequencies. But it also is actually an amazing stone for bringing more light into the body. It's an amazing stone for purification and balance. It contains fullerenes. And so the way that it dissolves energy or works with like alchemizing energy is different than other stones. It literally like dissolves it. And so that's why it's actually used in a lot of like filtration systems for water and things like that to cleanse and purify water. And so it's very purifying energetically as well. And so it's just an amazing stone for protection, but it helps to really create space for more light to flow into your field. And so it's actually a really powerful stone to work with spiritually just as much as it is physically.
Shungite. I'm pretty sure I have some of that. I've heard that about the electronics with that. I have heard that one before. What's a good stone for traveling when you're jumping on a plane or a train, or for things to be smooth and easy?
Yeah. The first ones that come to mind are labradorite and amethyst, but I also really
I've heard amethyst. I've heard that about amethyst. Yeah.
It kind of depends on the person.
Yeah.
I really don't, it's difficult for me to answer that question because it kind of depends on the person and like what they're feeling. But there's one kind of stone too that, that really I feel like is so helpful, and it's lepidolite because it really supports with anxiety. And I think when I think of Apple, I think of like, just like anxiety. But that's me, right? Like, I mean, that's
right.
Everyone have that orientation to travel, depending on what type of travel and all of that. But I feel like there's generally a fair amount of logistics and keeping up with schedules and all of that. And so lepidolite can just be really helpful at staying calm, cool, and collected, and just to, ease any sort of over anxious thoughts and things of that nature.
Which we all need on a regular basis nowadays, right?
Mm-hmm.
The anxiety of like sometimes of going out and dealing with the world, especially with everything that's going on in the world. I think that these crystals can really, really help us. Now, I see a minute before we're going to take our break, but I wanted to ask you, so when you pick up your crystals, like, do you feel like a vibration from them? Are you that in tune with it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a feeling you were going to say that.
Yeah, but we can all feel that. I mean, everybody has the ability to tap into that.
Okay. Yeah, because I think that personally for me, I need to play with them more. I mean, I have them displayed, like I have an altar like you, and I'll change them out. And I don't even know why I change out the ones I do. It's just like something I like. I want to put this one out. So I really need to hold my stones for longer and see what I start getting and see what kind of messages I get. All right, we're going to hold that thought right now, and we're going to take our break here, and then we'll talk. I have a lot more questions for you. So stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few minutes.
Conscious media for conscious minds. Om Times. Host your show on IOM FM, the radio network of Om Times Media, one of the more recognized brand names in the conscious community, and is backed by the extensive marketing reach of Om Times. Hosting a show on IOM FM immediately connects you with our extensive dedicated community.
Everyone has a story. I have a story. You have a story. We all have a story. As I see it, you have 3 choices. Allow your story to define you, use it to excuse you, or utilize it as a method to empower you. It's your life. You have the power. You choose. Rewrite your story on finduniquelyyou.com.
Imagine yourself being transported to India, to the banks of the Ganga and an ashram in Rishikesh. Visualize that you are welcome to satsang with an American sannyasi who shares the wisdom of her guru. Your visualization has manifested. Join Sattvi Bhagawati Saraswati for inspiration and transformation every Thursday at 11 a.m. Eastern on Om Times Radio.
Ascending Hearts is no ordinary dating site, but a spiritual dating site with a purpose, to link you with your soulmate. We engineer the serendipity so you can trust that you will attune with someone that has the same matching vibration as you. Ascending Hearts, the conscious dating site for the spiritually aware. Try Ascending Hearts for free, ascendinghearts.com.
Hi, I'm Melissa Caprio from Postcards to the Universe, Creating the Life You Crave. Do you believe in magic? What if I told you all you had to do was get a little creative and work a dream spell to bring anything you can imagine into your life? Well, guess what? I've got the spell for you. Postcards to the Universe, a global movement for manifestation, is a casting magical tool for you to use whenever you want. How does living in passion sound to you? Join me in my movement where you get to create in the magical playground. Let's think outside the box and do some playful conjuring. By casting out our desires with a manifesting postcard, we explore our hearts and allow the alchemy of our dreams to appear. And don't forget to tune in each week here on Om Times Radio with my show, Postcards to the Universe, Creating the Life You Crave at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. I share tips on creativity, abundance, and prosperity, and you will be introduced to the coolest guests, trailblazers, mystics, and creatives who enrich our lives. everybody, and welcome back. If you're just joining me, I have Sarah Balmer on, and we were talking about crystals right before the break and working with crystals because Sarah works with crystals all the time. So I know that you have said that you have a special relationship with the mineral kingdom. So what do you mean by that?
I'm sorry, you just broke up right when you said that.
I'm sorry. I said that you said that you have I know you've said this, that you have a special relationship with the mineral kingdom. What do you mean by that?
Well, just in terms of feeling like I've always been connected, I feel like I am part of an oversoul group that worked with crystals across lifetimes, and I definitely have memories of past life experiences in Lemuria working with crystal and light technology, and do bring some of that forward. One of the classes that I have is called Light Alchemy with Crystals, and it's really this crystal healing technique to really clear the etheric template and clear energetic patterns that aren't serving you, working with a double terminated quartz crystal. And then also, one of the things that I do is to teach people spirit-guided communication through the stones. And so I remember this earlier on in my journey working with a mentor, and I was, I had so many different crystals, and she asked me, do you ever talk to them? And I was like, well, I don't think, no, not really. And so she's like, well, you should try it. And so we got off the phone, and I went downstairs, and I had all crystals. I had just gotten back from a gym show, so I had this ridiculous, amount of crystals all over the table. So then I took them up one by one, and I just started talking to them, and it was like they talked back, and I was just like, oh my gosh. And so it really kind of opened the door for me to this deeper exploration and deeper connection. And so, so I've just forged this deeper relationship, which really, I feel like is very much like a shamanic path, right? Of being able to, and through the crystals or through the plants, that sort of thing. And so, it's just been a journey that's sort of slowly unfolded organically.
Oh, that's really, really cool. So you have an actual memory of a past life working with crystals and light codes and stuff?
It's really I have
like a flash, like a feeling and a flash kind of thing?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I actually have several main crystals on my altar that are really, I don't know how to say it, they're just elevated above all the other ones. They're master crystals, essentially.
Yeah.
There's one that I have that's a really big Lemurian quartz, and I feel so connected to that one, and I'm always, it's like when I want to receive guidance about something or deeper wisdom about something, that one is one that I will often pick up and work with. And it's just being able to kind of go back and ask questions and receive the wisdom of just, the way things used to be done. It's in bringing that information forward.
Ah, so interesting. So it's like as I'm here listening to you talk, I'm imagining crystals are waiting for us to be able to understand them. It's like an untapped market, right? Like they're just waiting, quiet your mind, open yourself up, because we have so much here to teach you and energetically to help you, right? But most of us don't have any idea how to understand the crystal language, basically. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah, it's cool. And I've met just a few people who are really passionate about crystals, and you sound like you're totally one of those people. I think that's pretty amazing. So how can you've noticed that people, when they start awakening, you've noticed that crystals seem to come into their life. Can you share a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so I think that for a lot of people, kind of like that journey that I was telling you about of myself, of even just being corporate for so long, I think so many people are kind of going through life in this very 3D sort of way, operating in the physical world, just that this is, this is all there is. And then for many people, there are these activation points within their own soul journey of when they start to kind of recognize that there's something more. There's something more here.
Yeah.
Like more beyond the scale. There's something more to this life. Like I didn't just
Right.
come here in this like enslaved kind of matrix type system of really sort of entrapment, I think is what it feels like. And there's this point where the soul starts to become like restless, and like seeking and searching for answers and for truth. And I think when people start to wake up to the world of energy and just, more than what they see, that there's more to this reality, it's like all of a sudden there becomes this like almost like fervor or like this seeking energy where they want to like know everything, and I feel like people usually start to show up around that time. And you're right. It's like we're so busy that we don't really know how to just set and receive or listen and be still. But crystals are carrying wisdom across the ages. They've seen cycles upon cycles upon cycles of time. And for us in our life, like this is such a micro of the macro. And like we only get to see this one sliver of time where it feels like the world's falling apart and going through great chaos. But the crystals have seen this over and over again, and there's ancient wisdom. And there's so much to be shared, but the interesting thing about it is that the crystals are really reliant upon us to move them. They're static. They're in the earth until we bring them out. And it's really beautiful how crystals start to come out of the earth at these specific points in time. And I really believe it is to support our evolution, like that they're very much part of, the planet is encoded for awakening and for evolution, and she's already doing it, and we're just really catching up. And so, but it really is the light. It's the light, and the photonic light that's coming into our system that's supporting the dismantling of the old timeline, the dismantling of corruption and false systems, and bringing in the new light. And crystals are carriers of that light. They carry it purely. And so they support us with awakening to higher states of consciousness, awakening to higher realities, awakening to higher wisdom. And so, yeah.
Yeah. I know. I love the way listening to how you describe it, that you say that the earth is encoded to enlighten and ascend. And she's doing it, because if you look at the world, it's hard to see that. So just talking about it and being reminded that it's okay, it's happening, right? So old paradigms have to fall down and fall apart and crumble for new to, come up in their place. So it's a good reminder. And to think of crystals as facilitators of that, it never occurred to me, but it does now. So that's a good thing, right? Right? Yeah. You just don't think about stuff like that unless people like say, hey, look at it like this, think about this. So I love that. So talking about ascending and us humans ascending, what is one of the biggest struggles that people are having who are on the ascension path and who know or want to spiritually awake?
Oh, man, that's a great question. I'm going to have to think about it for a minute. There's so many. So pick one. I think, I think one is our relationships. I think people bump up against struggles when they start to awaken and ascend. They shift, and when your energy shifts, everything around you shifts. And for many people, that means moving out of jobs, moving out of relationships, maybe even moving locations. And so that's a real struggle, of how you navigate already going through so much change and transformation yourself. And so there's already many deep processes, shadow work, like alchemy within, like internally in your own being. And then when you start seeing it show up in your external world and the relationships that you hold, I think that's a huge struggle.
Yeah.
I see.
Makes sense.
Over and over.
What about collectively? Like, what are you seeing, or what's your intuition telling you about what's going on for all of us collectively, like in the struggle with this ascension, what's coming up?
I think that what's really coming up is our trauma. you know, collectively, you know, we have to start to face the distortions that we've been living in, the patterns that we've been living in, the belief systems that we've been living in that simply aren't true, but that are so ingrained in our bodies and in our, you know, ancestry. We're carrying so many ancestral patterns that are really ready to be transformed, and that's happening on a collective level. But in everyone's journey individually, that looks different. You know, I mean, it's different in the. I mean, the kind of the themes are similar, but it's like what that means for you might look a little bit different in your storyline than my storyline. And so there's so much of that, and there's a big sort of rebalancing, you know, between the masculine and the feminine. And the masculine is like we're really kind of working through the distorted masculine and the false masculine and the ways that women have been carrying that too, and men to really move into their divine masculine. That's happening slowly, but it's happening. And women are really being called into, you know, the divine feminine, which means really taking off those masks, removing the oppression and repression, and really alchemizing their beliefs that they're holding, the way they've been living and showing up in the world. So there's a lot of that happening too, and that, again, it happens at an individual level and a collective level. And I think that's the thing, is that we have to be doing it individually, each of us doing our part and doing that, knowing that our healing is rippling into the collective, and it's rippling into 7 generations before us, and then the 7 generations to come after us.
Oh, is it 7 and 7? Is that what it seems to be? Like, it's 7 generations before us, and then our future 7 generations. Interesting. Is there a reason? Now that we just said that, it's like 7 is a mystical number. Is there a reason it's 7? I'm just curious.
It is a mystical number, and I don't know that I know the reason off the top of my head, but they're definitely. I mean, the 7 definitely is a mystical number in the sense that it represents the 4 directions and the 3 worlds. But no, that's just the morphogenetic field.
Well, that's something to look more into now for me, isn't it? Another thing to explore. Why is it 7 and 7? All right. So I know that you work mostly with women and you support women. So can you give us some practices that we can maybe do to help us raise our vibration and support, especially, I mean, it's for everybody, obviously. I'm not excluding men. It just seems that more women listen to my show and more women are probably listening right now, you know, so like for everyone, but to support us in our ascension process.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Let's think about this. Well, one thing is definitely having protection rituals. I kind of touched on that earlier.
Okay.
And, well, in rituals, period, you know, having anchor points throughout your day, rituals throughout your day that allow you to come back to center. And I love I think every spiritual tradition ever talks about rising practices, and then like in the morning, like practices in the first thing in the morning, then your practice at the last part of the evening, you know, whatever that is. It can be a practice with your crystals. It can be a practice of mindful breathing. But you can also bring in protection rituals in the morning and the evening. So in the morning, you know, really starting your day with thoughtful intention, mindfulness, prayer, visualizing your day for how you want it to go, like just doing a simple drop-in and whatever that looks like for you, you know. And I mean, for some, that can just be with their morning coffee or mindfully drinking tea, or actually like sitting in a sacred space, or it could just be in your car, you know, before you start your car day, that you just have, you know, a minute. And then in the evening, well, in that space, really calling in protection energy, or putting yourself in a bubble of light, or cleansing your field, calling in, you know, the highest frequencies of love and light to surround you throughout the day, however you create that protection ritual. And then in the evening, really releasing all energy that's not yours, that you've accumulated throughout the day, so that you're kind of really like clarifying before you go to bed at night. And one thing that I love to do is actually I have a big piece of black tourmaline that I like to put under the bed. And so when I start to fall asleep at night, I can just visualize releasing any energy that's not mine, sending it into the black tourmaline just for it to be alchemized and returned to light. And so just cleansing my field before I go into the dream state, into the night state, so that my energy is mine and there's nothing else that I'm, contending with in the astral realm.
Yeah, that's a really good idea. Because I do a lot in the morning. I'll do like a grounding and I connect to the earth and to the heavens, and I'll do like a protection around me. But sometimes I forget to do releasing at night before I go to sleep. No wonder why some of my dreams are crazy. Who knows who's coming in there with me? But that's a really good practice because it literally takes a minute of your time while you're got your eyes closed and you're in bed anyway. So that's really, really good. I think we forget to do these things for ourselves, because most people are, well, if I can't see it, hear it, smell it, taste it, and touch it, it's not, it doesn't exist. But you and I know, and most of the people that listen to my show know that that's not true, right? That there's so much more than that. So,
and crystals can become anchor points too for those practices. To have it on your nightstand or wherever you have your ritual. It's like attaching your ritual to something you do every day helps you to remember to do it. So it could be a practice you have in the bathroom in front of the mirror because you're usually there in the morning and in the night, and so it could be anchors you to that space that helps make sure that it gets done. And there was another one that I was going to mention too, because I think that when it comes to raising our vibration, we have to be really good stewards of our thoughts and the thought field and the words that we're speaking out loud.
Yeah.
And when I was talking earlier about just all the kind of shadow work, trauma work, that's all inner alchemy. And the thought, it's like we really have to manage our thoughts and oftentimes cheerlead ourselves, if we're going to shift our beliefs and hold supportive beliefs that support the result that we want, the life that we want. And so one question that I really love when I get into a negative thought loop or a fear loop or whatever might be creating constriction in the body is to really just say, okay, how can I liberate this thought? And so really just listen to what the thought is showing you, be with the thought. And it's like, well, what is the flip side of that thought? And is there possibility there too? And so it's really looking and playing with both sides of the thought and just saying where is that little pathway, that doorway to start to liberate that energy into something greater? And it's just a way that you can kind of work with the mind, right? Work with the mind, befriend the ego, and to find those higher levels of thinking that are going to really support the outcomes you want to create.
Yeah, that's good. I like that. How can I liberate this thought? Mine is always, is this true? What I'm thinking, is this true? Is this really true? I talk about this all the time with manifestation. That's why I love affirmations and I do them with the postcards because I kind of chant them in my head now. I chant a lot in my head and I'll repeat and it's helped me tremendously. I mean, personally, it's helped me so much. So I love that. That's just another way to question it, because our thoughts are not real. They're not, is it really real? Is that really true what I'm thinking? And once you practice, it's a practice like anything else. The more you practice, the more you'll catch yourself, especially when you're in a rabbit hole of negative thinking, it's something that you just got to remind yourself to do. And the more you do it, the better at it you get, right? I mean, I'm sure you find that too.
Yeah.
So I want to talk a little bit about, I don't want to forget because we don't have that much time left, your Anchor the Light Academy and your Anchor the Light Society. Can you share with everybody what that is?
Yes. So Anchor the Light Society is a simple membership, and it's kind of a hybrid between a monthly box and a spiritual practice and community. And so it's all intended to help upgrade beliefs, which we're just talking about, to upgrade really anchor into spiritual practice and sacred self-care. So each month you get a handmade gemstone bracelet and a crystal and Palo Santo and tea, and then an affirmation for the month along with some journal prompts and an intention card. So it's really designed to help you be accountable to spiritual practice, personal growth, working with crystal energy to support you. And you can, of course, program the crystal or the bracelet with your affirmation or intention for that month. And it's a great way to explore crystals as well. And so to build your little bracelet stack, that's one of the ways I love to work with crystals is through jewelry, which we didn't really touch on.
Yeah, because you do make jewelry also. You got to check out her on her website and on her Instagram. I know, right? The hour goes by so fast. Yeah, your jewelry. But I love that. What a nice gift to give yourself because really you get a monthly box. Yeah. That's really nice. And we find community and a monthly tea gathering as well. And then there's a meditation, a crystal meditation, and an Akashic Records reading of the stone too. So it's a great way to really start working with crystal energy and learn about it organically each month. And then Anchor the Light Academy is a deeper journey. It's a 9-month group mentorship program. And I really have a guided approach to energetic sovereignty and really self-empowerment and becoming more masterful at mastering your energetics so that you can start to live with from a higher state of consciousness, essentially. And so we go through body, mind, spirit, and then there's also, I teach the working with what I call crystal wisdom codes, which is working with crystals and channeling spirit guided information through the stones. That's part of it, the journey as well. So, yeah. Nice. And you have a community on Facebook too, right? And Anchor the Light. Like, so if you become part of the academy and the society, do you become part of the community on Facebook?
So the Facebook community is just a public Facebook community.
Oh,
so that's
perfect.
like a big group. So anybody can join us there. It's Anchor the Light, and it's energetic mastery for spiritual seekers. And we have all kinds of content in there each week to support just deepening into your own spiritual practice and energetic mastery.
Nice. Yeah, so for any of you guys who are listening or is like, I kind of want to check it out, you could start with the community on Facebook and then, gift yourself the Anchor of Light Society gift box each month, and then you can go deeper, right, if you feel called to do that. That's really, really cool. I love that. I love those gift box that I see people like that you're doing and I see other people do. I think it's really cool because you subscribe for the subscription, right? And it's like every month you have this special, and I feel like it's a way of self-care because you're treating yourself, right? This is your special thing. It comes once a month. It's just for you, and obviously you specially curate them. And I think that's a really good idea to do. People must really like them.
Yeah, they do. They have their own little ritual around opening them and how they work with the pieces. And a lot of fun.
I would think so. Yeah, I love that. So, Sarah, is there anything that we didn't get to talk about that you want to mention in the last couple of minutes?
Oh, my goodness. Well, this week, amazing free online retreat happening called Activate Your Soul Power. So if anyone wants to jump into the Anchor the Light community on Facebook, there's so much amazing information in there that is free, and it's just a way to kind of dive into all of this deeper and get some powerful shifts along the way. So I would invite anyone to join us there that feels called to it.
The Anchor of Light. So for those of you on Facebook, check that out. Is there some little piece of wisdom that maybe we should take from today's show about crystals that many people don't know? I know that's a big question in a little bit of time because I know there's so much wisdom, but just like a little nugget.
Yeah, I would say that crystals are alive and have spirit. We think of them as these inanimate objects from the earth, They easily get overlooked, as just part of the mundane, part of the building blocks of life and of nature, but they really are alive and have spirit. And when you start to look at them that way, it opens the doorway for your relationship to shift.
Oh, I love that. They are alive and have spirit. Going to leave today's show with looking at my crystals very differently, Sarah. Thank you. And follow her on, check her out on Instagram. It's Sarah Belle Style. And follow her. And then you can see all her jewelry too, because we didn't even get a chance to really talk about what you put into making your jewelry, which I'm sure is a lot, right? I'm sure you put a lot of your energy and light and love into your jewelry, because that's part of it, right? You're putting your energy into all those beautiful pieces. Oh my God, it was so interesting talking to you today. Thank you so much for joining me. It was such a pleasure. All right, everybody. You're welcome. Hey guys, as always, thank you so much for listening to Postcards to the Universe with Melissa, creating the life you crave. And I'm wishing everyone a wonderful week filled with joy, abundance, and love. Peace.